brothers and sisters of Madagascar, proud sons and daughters of Africa, warriors of the soil that has birthed empires and resisted chains for centuries. I, Ibrahim Traoré, stand before you, not in body, for the tyrant's borders divide us, but in unbreakable spirit, as the flames of revolution ignite across our continent once more. Hear me from the heart of Burkina Faso, where we too have risen against the shadows of oppression, where we have cast off the shackles of foreign puppeteers and reclaimed our destiny. Today, I speak to you, the people of Madagascar, in the midst of your righteous uprising, this glorious protest that shakes the foundations of deceit and awakens the giant within our shared African soul. Look at what you have unleashed. This is no mere gathering of voices. This is the thunder of self-actualization roaring through the veins of a nation long suppressed. For too long, Madagascar has been treated as a playground for the greedy, a jewel plundered by neo-colonial vultures who circle from afar, dictating your fate through their installed puppets. These so-called leaders, these hollow figures propped up by Western strings. France, the IMF, the World Bank, and their insidious alliances. They are not your guardians. They are your jailers. They sell your resources, your land, your future, for scraps from the tables of Paris and Washington, while your people starve in the richness of your own earth. But you, the Malagasy people, have said enough. Your protests are the blades severing those strings, the fire burning away the illusions of control. This movement is your collective awakening, the realization that true power lies not in the palaces of the corrupt, but in the hands of the people who till the fields, who fish the seas, who build the homes and dream the dreams of tomorrow. And oh, how I congratulate you, the youth of Madagascar, the fearless vanguard of this revolution, you who have stared into the barrels of oppression's guns and not flinched, you who have marched through tear gas and batons with heads held high, you who have turned social media into battlegrounds and streets into fortresses of truth. You are the lions of Africa, untamed and unbreakable, refusing to inherit a world of submission. In Burkina Faso, we know this fire well. Our young revolutionaries toppled the old guard, dismantled the networks of betrayal, and rebuilt a government that serves the people, not the imperialists. You embody that same spirit, fearless, not because you lack fear, but because your love for your nation eclipses it. You charge forward, knowing that history bends to those who dare to bend it, that empires crumble when the youth rise as one. But let us delve deeper, my brothers and sisters, into the heart of what you are fighting for, what government truly means, and why your protest strikes at the core of neo-colonial rot. Government is not a distant throne occupied by self-appointed kings. It is the sacred covenant between a people and their sovereignty. It is the shield that protects your vanilla fields from foreign exploitation, your sapphire mines from being looted by multinational thieves, your forests from being raised for profit that never reaches your pockets. True government is the voice of the farmer in Antananarivo, the fisherman in Toamasina, the teacher in Fianarantsoa. It echoes the will of the masses, not the whispers of Paris salons or Brussels boardrooms. Yet, under these puppet leaders, what have you endured? A neo-colonialism disguised as aid and development, where loans become chains, where your elections are rigged by invisible hands, where your presidents bow to foreign masters while your children go hungry. Think of it. Neo-colonialism is the ghost of empires past, haunting Africa with economic warfare. It installs leaders like André Rajoelina or his predecessors, men who parade as nationalists but dance to the tune of French interests, allowing military bases on your soil, exploitative contracts for your resources, and policies that prioritize debt repayment over your people's health and education. Your protests expose this farce. You are defeating it by unmasking the puppets. Those who sign away your fisheries to European fleets, who let Chinese conglomerates strip your rosewood without reinvesting in your communities, who ignore the climate devastation wrought by the very powers that lecture you on sustainability. This is self-actualization in its purest form, realizing that Madagascar's greatness lies in its people's hands, not in begging for crumbs from the tables of the oppressors. Youth of Madagascar, you understand this better than any elder statesman corrupted by power. You know that government is about accountability. Leaders must fear the people, not the other way around. You grasp that it's about equity, distributing the wealth of your nickel, your ilmenite, your precious gems to build schools, hospitals, roads that connect your islands, not luxury villas for the elite. You comprehend that true governance rejects the divide-and-rule tactics of neo-colonialism, which pits tribe against tribe, region against region, to keep you weak while they plunder. Your fearlessness stems from this knowledge. You have studied history, from the Maritime Kingdom's resistance to French colonization, to the 1947 uprising where your ancestors spilled blood for freedom, only to see it betrayed by post-independence sellouts. Now, you build on that legacy using technology to organize, drones to document abuses, global solidarity to amplify your cries. Delve with me further into this truth. Neo-colonialism thrives on puppetry because it fears African unity. It installs leaders who prioritize foreign alliances over Pan-African bonds, who ignore the African Union when it suits them, who sabotage regional integration to keep borders as barriers rather than bridges. But your movement shatters this. By protesting, you align with the winds of change sweeping from Burkina Faso to Mali, from Niger to Senegal, nations casting out French troops, renegotiating exploitative deals, reclaiming mines and farms. You are part of this wave, defeating the puppets by demanding leaders who serve Madagascar first, who invest in local industries, who foster education that teaches African history unfiltered by colonial lenses. Your youth know this. Government is not about pomp and ceremony. It's about action, eradicating poverty that neo-colonial policies perpetuate, combating corruption that siphons billions into Swiss banks, building resilience against the famines and floods exacerbated by global powers who pollute without consequence. And consider the depths of your bravery. In a world where dissent is met with disappearances, where journalists are silenced and activists imprisoned, you stand tall. You know what government is about because you've seen its perversion, leaders who use state violence to protect foreign interests, who deploy police not as protectors but as enforcers of inequality. Yet you persist, organizing in the shadows of baobabs, chanting in the markets of Ansirab, blocking roads to the ports where your wealth is shipped away. This is self-actualization, transforming from subjects to sovereigns, from victims of history to its authors. You defeat neo-colonialism by rejecting the lie that Africa needs guidance from the West, guidance that has left us with debt traps, resource curses, and endless cycles of instability. My comrades, as I watch your fires burn brighter, I see the dawn of a new Africa, where Madagascar leads by example, where your youth's fearlessness inspires the continent to rise as one against the lingering ghosts of empire. Let us explore even more profoundly the essence of this struggle, the way your movement redefines power itself, stripping away the veneers of democracy that mask autocracy, exposing how puppet leaders use elections as theater while real decisions are made in foreign capitals. You, the youth, understand that government must be revolutionary. It must uproot the systems that allow a few to hoard while many suffer. It must nationalize key industries to benefit all. It must forge alliances with fellow African nations to counter the divide-and-conquer strategies of old. Your protests delve into the soul of governance, questioning not just who leads, but how leadership is earned through service, not subservience, through vision, not venality. Yes, delve deeper still. Neo-colonialism's defeat lies in your refusal to accept the narrative that Madagascar is poor when its soil teems with riches, that your people are undeveloped when your cultures have thrived for millennia. You congratulate yourselves rightly, for in your fearlessness, you teach the world what government truly entails. A relentless pursuit of justice, where leaders are servants, not overlords. Where policies heal the wounds of colonialism rather than reopen them. Where youth like you, armed with knowledge and courage, become the architects of a self-determined future. This movement is the antithesis of puppetry, the triumph of authenticity over artifice, the roar of a people claiming their birthright. And to you, my fellow Africans across this vast continent, from the sands of the Sahel to the peaks of Kilimanjaro, from the rivers of the Congo to the shores of Senegal, I shout this clarion call. Rise up and take your countries back. Seize them from the clutches of colonial masters who never truly left, who lurk in the shadows of boardrooms and embassies, pulling strings through their puppet leaders who betray you at every turn. These imposters, these traitors in tailored suits, do not mean well for you. They never have. They are the agents of division, the sellers of souls, who trade your sovereignty for personal gain, who kneel before Paris, London, Washington, Beijing, while your children cry for bread and your elders weep for lost dignity. Enough! The time has come to wrench your nations free, to storm the bastions of betrayal and reclaim what is rightfully yours. The land, the resources, the future that colonial vultures have feasted upon for far too long. Look around you, brothers and sisters of Mali, of Niger, of Ghana, of Kenya, of every corner where the boot of neo-colonialism still presses down. Your puppet leaders, installed through rigged elections, propped up by foreign aid that comes with invisible chains, do not serve you. They serve the masters who dangle dollars and euros like bait on a hook. They sign away your oil fields to multinationals that poison your waters, your farmlands to agribusiness giants that displace your farmers, your ports to superpowers that turn them into military outposts. These leaders, with their empty promises and bloated bank accounts, mean you no good. They are the cancer eating at Africa's heart, perpetuating poverty while they live in opulence, enforcing policies that keep you dependent, begging for scraps from the very thieves who stole your wealth. But hear me, Madagascar's fire is your spark. Use this moment, this uprising that echoes across borders, to ignite your own revolutions. Take your countries back. Not with pleas, but with the unyielding force of a people united, marching as one to topple these puppets and banish their colonial overlords forever. Delve with me now into the fiery depths of this truth, for this is no fleeting skirmish. It is the forge where Africa's destiny is hammered into shape. Use this opportunity to make it right once and for all. Do not squander it on half measures or compromises that leave the roots of oppression intact. Tear them out. Imagine. If you hesitate now, if you allow these puppets to slink back into power with false reforms and honeyed words, the colonial masters will tighten their grip, embedding deeper into your economies, your militaries, your minds. But if you seize this chance, storming the palaces, nationalizing the mines, renegotiating the debts that strangle you, debts engineered to keep you subservient, then you build a fortress of true independence. Make no mistake, the foundation you lay today, in the heat of these protests, will echo through generations. It will determine how the world views you, not as beggars at the gates of empire, but as titans who command respect. Your future leaders will inherit this legacy. If you lay bricks of courage and unity, they will stand tall against any aggressor. But if you falter, leaving cracks of compromise, those leaders will be tempted to crawl back into subservience, selling out anew to the highest bidder. Oh, let us plunge even deeper into this inferno of revelation. The puppets who rule you, those who shake hands with Macron or Biden while ignoring the cries of their own people, inflict wounds that scar the soul of Africa. They perpetuate the myth that we need guidance from the West or East, that our governments must mimic their models, adopting neoliberal poisons that privatize your water, your healthcare, your education, turning basic rights into commodities for the elite. These leaders mean you harm my people. They orchestrate famines through policies that favor exports over feeding your families. They suppress unions and workers' rights to appease foreign investors. They deploy armies not to defend borders but to crush dissent that threatens their masters' profits. But now, with Madagascar's youth leading the charge, use this blaze to incinerate such treachery across the continent. Rally in Dakar, in Addis Ababa, in Harare, form Pan-African fronts that link arms from north to south, demanding the expulsion of foreign bases, the cancellation of odious debts, the prosecution of corrupt officials who hoard billions in offshore havens while your hospitals lack medicine. Think profoundly on this. The foundation you build today is the bedrock of tomorrow's world order. If you reclaim your nations with unbridled fury, rejecting every vestige of puppetry, you teach the global powers that Africa is no longer their playground. Future leaders will emulate your resolve, crafting policies that prioritize African solutions, investing in intercontinental trade, harnessing renewable energy from your sun and winds without foreign strings, educating your youth in curricula that celebrate Mansa Musa and Queen Zinga, not the civilizing myths of colonizers. But delve deeper still. Fail to make it right now, and the world will continue to exploit you, viewing your lands as resource depots, your people as cheap labor, your governments as malleable tools. Puppet leaders will multiply, bred in the academies of imperialism, perpetuating cycles of coups and instability orchestrated from afar to justify interventions. No, ignite the revolution fully. Use this opportunity to forge unbreakable alliances, to digitize your economies on your terms, to arm your defenses with homegrown innovation, ensuring that no colonial master dares encroach again. And consider the blazing core of this imperative. By taking back your countries, you dismantle the psychological chains that bind us, the internalized inferiority sown by centuries of domination. These puppets reinforce it daily, aping Western fashions while denigrating African traditions, promoting Hollywood over Nollywood, English over Swahili or Wolof. They mean to keep you docile, doubting your own genius, but your protests shatter that illusion. Lay foundations of cultural renaissance, economic self-reliance, political Pan-Africanism. Make it right once and for all by embedding these in constitutions rewritten by the people, in institutions purged of foreign influence, in leaders selected not by donor dollars but by the will of the masses. This will dictate how future leaders behave. With spines of steel, negotiating as equals on the world stage, demanding reparations for colonial atrocities, forging trade blocs that rival the EU or NAFTA. The world will bow to your strength, not prey on your weakness. Investors will come on your terms, not theirs. Superpowers will seek partnerships, not puppets. Yes, my warriors, delve into the volcanic heart of this struggle. The opportunity before you is a crucible where hesitation means eternal subjugation, but bold action births eternal freedom. And now, to you, the newly anointed military president of Madagascar, risen from the ashes of this righteous storm, forged in the crucible of your people's will. I direct these words as a brother in arms, a fellow soldier of sovereignty. You, who have stepped forward amid the chaos, rifle in hand and resolve in heart, must heed this sacred charge. Be for the people, not above them, not apart from them, but of them, by them, and eternally for them. Remember, the uniform you wear is not a crown of conquest but a badge of service. The power you wield is not yours to hoard but a trust bestowed by the masses who bled in the streets to elevate you. Betray that trust, and you become the very puppet you overthrew. Another tyrant in fatigues, destined for the dustbin of history. But embrace it, live it, breathe it, and you shall lead Madagascar into an era of unbreakable strength, where the military stands as guardian of the nation, not its oppressor. Delve with me into the blazing essence of this mandate. For being, for the people is no hollow slogan. It is the fire that tempers true leadership. You must purge the remnants of the old regime, those corrupt generals and bureaucrats who fattened themselves on foreign bribes while your soldiers went unpaid and your citizens starved. Reform the government policies not with timid tweaks, but with revolutionary zeal. Tailor them to the raw needs of the Malagasy people, who cry out for land reforms that return stolen farms to the hands that till them, for healthcare systems that heal without bankrupting families, for education that equips your youth with skills to build, not beg. Help enact laws that prioritize food security over export quotas dictated by IMF spreadsheets. Dismantle the tax havens that siphon your vanilla and cocoa profits to European coffers. Invest in infrastructure that connects rural villages to urban markets, not just elite enclaves to international airports. Be the architect of policies that empower women in the workforce, protect children from exploitation in mines, and foster cooperatives where fishermen and artisans control their destinies, free from the predatory grip of multinational sharks. Oh, plunge deeper into this inferno of reform, for the people's needs are the heartbeat of a nation reborn. Help nationalize your country's resources, the cobalt in your soils, the oil in your seas, the gems that sparkle like stars stolen from your sky, without a whisper of weakness, without ceding an inch to those who would paint you as vulnerable. Do it boldly, defiantly, as we have in Burkina Faso. Declare your nickel mine sovereign assets, renegotiate contracts with the force of law backed by a mobilized populace, invite African partners Mali, Niger, Guinea to form unbreakable cartels that set prices on our terms, not theirs. Nationalization is not retreat. It is advance. It proclaims to the world that Madagascar is no beggar nation, no fragile flower to be plucked, but a roaring lion reclaiming its pride. Arm your economy with strategic alliances. Trade with BRICS nations who respect sovereignty. Invest in local refining industries that turn raw ore into finished goods. Build military-industrial complexes that produce your own weapons and technology. In this way, you project power, not frailty. You deter aggressors with the steel of self-reliance, showing that a nationalized Madagascar is a fortress, impervious to sanctions or sabotage, where resources fuel hospitals and schools, not foreign yachts and wars. Consider the volcanic depths of this strategy. By nationalizing without apology, you shatter the neo-colonial myth that Africa must attract investment by selling itself cheap. Help reform policies that integrate military oversight with civilian councils, ensuring transparency through people's assemblies that audit every deal, every dollar, while fortifying borders against economic espionage. Draw from our Sahelian triumphs. We expelled French forces, seized gold mines, and watched our currency strengthen. Our alliances multiply. You too can forge Madagascar into a beacon, exporting processed spices and textiles, harnessing solar power from your endless sun, cultivating biotechnology from your unique biodiversity, all under national control, creating jobs that bind your youth to the homeland rather than driving them to perilous migrations. This is strength incarnate. A military president who reforms for the people becomes invincible, for his army is the people, his policies their shield, his nationalizations their sword against exploitation. And so, my African kin, from the valiant youth of Madagascar to the awakening masses across our continent, let this be our eternal vow. We rise not to replace one master with another, but to shatter all chains forever. In unity, in fire, in unyielding resolve, we reclaim our Africa. Prosperous, proud, and free. Victory is ours, for the people, by the people, eternally.